All right. Hello. What's up, Wing Chun? How's it going? Hey, Losh. Hello, hello. What's up, Sal? I'm doing good. How are you doing tonight? All right. You quit your job last week. What? That's huge. You've been better ever since. Wait, do you have another one lined up, or you just quit? You just went cold turkey. What's up, Bigfoot? How's it going? You got another job and going back to school. Oh, that's cool. Back to school for what? That's a really big change. Me, I am doing okay. Doing pretty good. As you can see, there's something behind me. It's a new background. It's a green screen. Yeah. Now I can put whatever I want in the back. Isn't that cool? Yeah. It's a really, really realistic green screen. I can even walk back and touch the things on the green screen. It's crazy. Yeah. You don't think so? You want to see? Want to see? I'm touching it. I'm touching it. Technology these days. Yeah. Environmental science. That's awesome. Hey, congratulations. AI plants. Yeah. The same background I had last year. So we're going to be using this green screen for the next few months. All right. I don't think anyone has guessed where I am yet. But that will remain a mystery. Okay. Let's do it. Hold on. Possums took over my home. Yeah. I'm so sad. Oh, fuck. Give me 1 sec. Oh, shit. The hell was that? Eastern time zone? Correct. That is one hint. Florida? Nope. Sal. Oh, you're gonna be able to stay through the entire stream. Hey, awesome. New York? You can't just keep guessing. I guess you can. No, not New York. You get one guess per day. Hold on. Wordle. Wordle. Ohio? Incorrect. Tierra del Fuego? Incorrect. Saturn? You got it. How'd you know? The rings are really nice up here. Saturn is Eastern time zone. It's far east. Very far east. All right, hold on. Live screen. Window. All right. Can I do this? How is Wordle gonna treat me today? this terrible game. All right. Array. All right. Ooh. What about match? No T though. Match. Okay, okay. Magellan. Oh my god. It could be anything. Multi. Maybury. Madrid. Multi. Many. Maverick. Mayday. Malfoy. Malky. Maggot. Magi. Ooh. Could be anything. Okay, what is the best consonants to use? Manky? Mangy? Mangy? Is that a word? Mangy. Mangy. Oh! Mango. No, oh. Manga. What? No, it can't be. Is that an English word? No, it can't be. But can it? Manga. Alright. J? K? L? B? It has to be. It has to be. Oh, if it's not, then I have one more guess. Ah, that's not fair. I feel like that should not be a word in Wordle. All right, not too bad today. Not too bad. All right, are we ready for this? Mango. Manga. Fruit. Fly. Time. Blue. True. Raven. C. Up. Down. Huh. Left. Right. Interesting. Bottom. Top. Right. Bottom. Down. Corner. Below. Above. Direction. Oh, west. East. Across. Oh ho ho. Adjacent. Diagonal. Diagonally. Okay, okay. Before. Beside. Ooh. What's up, side duck? Diagonally. Beside. Across. Over. There. Front. Oh. Do we have back? Side. Hmm. Side, diagonal, behind, hover, cross, over, under, around, diagonally, sitting next to, next, near, far, wherever. Oh, you are, whenever, where, why, location, close, where, heart, there. Here, we tried that. No, we didn't. Place. Hmm. All right, Wing Chun. Have a good day. Anywhere. Oh, yeah. Everywhere. Nowhere. Where. Wherever. Is. It. This. Now. Particular. Particular. Specific. Closer. Closer. Whatever. Specifically. Oh my god. So close. Particularly. Certain. Certainly. Specifically. Particularly. Singular. One. Oh, precise. I like that. Specifically, this thing. This particular thing. This thing I have in my hand here. That's another word for that. Concise. So close. So close. We're 3 words away. Exactly. Oh. Damn it. Exact. Item. Thing? No. Being. Specific thing. Specifically. Unique. Uniquely. Uniquely. Absolute. Nope. Entity. Product. Sale. Sell. Buy. No. Specifically. Particular. Wherever, whatever, whenever. Where. Whatever. Individual. Individually. Oh. Originally. Original. Special. Particular. Individual. Single. Double. Taken. Straws. Specifically. Randomly? Oh, you're going the other way. Random. Common. Benign? No. Seems to be specific. Precisely. Did we try that? Precisely. I think we tried precise. Vaguely. Vague. Oof. Ah, 3 more words. We're so close. Specifically. Exactly. I think we tried that. We did, right? Exactly. Yeah. Particularly singular, unique. 1, 1, 2, 0. Buckle my shoe. Specifically. One thing. Individual. Only. I like that. Just. This. Concisely? Concisely. Ah! Oh, what is it? Rare. I think we tried special. How about priceless? Nope. Solely? Let's try solely. Oh, solely's close. Soul? Singularly. No. Precious. Entire. Entirely? Entirely. Holy. Whole. All. Every. Complete. Complete. It seems to be one thing. Solitude. Solitude. Lonely. Entity. Let me try that. A single thing. A single entity. A single molecule. Molecule. Atom. Specifically. A? Specific. God. Man. Woman. Child. A single child. An only child. No. Solely, then we tried that. Yeah, solely's close. Specifically. Gods. Apart? Oh my god, what is this? God. The one. Unique, right, correct. The answer. Solo. Nope. Myself. Itself. Self. Lone. Lone? Alone? Alone works. Purposely. Purposefully? Directly? Nope! Yeah! Good job, guys. Directly. Damn it. That was past 10 minutes? No! How long did that take? Hmm. 11 minutes, 13 seconds. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Okay, it wasn't 30 minutes. It also wasn't 0. Remember that day? Got it on the first try. Oh my god. Greatest day of my life. All right. That was challenging. That was only 10 minutes. We've had longer sessions. The first guess was guess or something? Yeah, what was it? I forgot what word. It might have been guess. There was also the time the game just handed us the answer. True! We clicked hint, and it just gave us the answer. Someone didn't test this really well. Okay, I have a snack. Okay. I have a snack, and the person... Oh, you see it? Oh, you can't see it. Oh no, we have this problem where the light is right there. Wait, let me see. Okay, let me take it out. Maybe you'll see it better. But it says fruits jelly. Okay. Fruits jelly. This person didn't take English 101. Ooh. It's a little soft, like a jelly. Not that soft, actually. It's hard. Hard jelly candy. Ugh. Hold on. Yeah. Alright. I think it has like sugar on the outside, coating it. Mmm. Fruity. Mmm. Kind of a bit too sweet for me. A bit too sweet. If only it were a little bit less sweet. Nom, 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 nom. Put my hand behind it. Oh, is that what the makeup people do? Yeah. Well, that didn't work. Oh my god. I think if I put it here, yeah, this is better. Yeah. Oh, you can see the shape of my teeth. Look. Perfectly straight. Absolutely straight. Not crooked at all. Okay. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. 7. Not bad. Okay, not great either. A little bit too sweet. I would prefer it to be less sweet. It would have been better. Chewy. It's not jello-y. It's kind of chewy. Squish rating is 3 out of 10. Okay, a little bit squishy, but it's not springy. Okay, you press it and it just stays like that. All right. All right, we good? We all ready? So, okay. So last week, what happened was the 6 freaks of Jiannan and Mei Qiaofeng, they're at the top of the mountain. Okay, and Guo Jing was also there. The blind Mei Qiaofeng, she gets a hold of Hua Zheng. She's the daughter of Temujin. Guo Jing bravely rescues her, but Mei Qiaofeng catches him. He lies and says that he's like a young disciple of the Chen Jun sect. Okay, which is what the 7 freaks taught him to say. And because she's blind, she doesn't know that he's lying. She sees that his internal energy is really strong for this young disciple. So his seniors must be even stronger. So she's like, oh, I can't defeat them. So I'm just going to retreat. Now, afterwards, Guojing rides to Temujin to warn him about the plot by Sengam and Jamuka and Wenyan Honglia to kill him. Okay. But Temujin, now that he's been warned, he defeats them all with Guojing's help. Okay. And also the 7 freaks, or the 6 freaks now. So Temujin defeats them all. He unites the Mongolian tribes, and he becomes Genghis Khan, okay, the Khan of all Khans. Sangam dies. Genghis Khan wants to forgive Jamuka, but then Jamuka would have none of it. He dishonored himself, and he accepts his execution. So afterwards, Genghis Khan rewards Guojing by making him a general, and also by betrothing his daughter Huazheng to him. Guojing is kind of ambivalent about this. He only sees Huazheng as a sister, all right, and he wasn't into incest, so he's like, I don't know. Guojing tells Genghis Khan he wants to go south to avenge his father, and then also have that duel with Yang Kang, and then he will return to marry his daughter. So Genghis Khan accepts, and he gives him another mission, which is to kill Wanyan Honglia, that 6th prince of Jin who plotted to kill him. So yeah, now Guojing, that's his mission. Okay, he gets to go south to China and have his adventures. He says goodbye to Tolui and Huazheng, but he doesn't say anything sweet to her. He doesn't even mention the marriage or anything. So he leaves, and afterwards she gets mad and she whips her horse. Yeah, that poor horse. And that's where we left off. How's that? All right. Chapter 7. Fighting contest to find a suitor. All right. Strunf. Original translation by Strunf. Is this the bad translator? Or are we back to the good one? The 6 freaks of Jiannan and Guojing took the southeast direction. The journey promised to be long. Many days passed before they even left the steppe. That day they were not very far from Kalgan anymore. It was the first time that Guojing landed his feet on Chinese soil. All was new for him, and he was full of enthusiasm. He loosened the bridle of his horse that ran so quickly that the wind whistled to the ears of the young man, and the landscape changed so quickly before his amazed eyes. The little red horse galloped without interruption until the Black River. Then Guojing stopped in a hostel by the road in order to wait for his masters. She lost your respect for the animal abuse? Okay. I think there's a lot of animal abuse in these books. I feel bad for the horses. Seeing that after this long race, the horse had sweated a lot, Guojing had mercy of him and took a handkerchief to wipe it. He was stunned then to see on the handkerchief traces of blood. Passing the hand on the neck, he withdrew it, covered in blood. He also burst into tears, blaming himself for not stopping his horse to take care of it. He was therefore responsible for its loss. He embraced the horse, making him 1,000. Wait. No, this is a bad translator. He embraced the horse, giving him 1,000 caresses. However, the animal seemed to be very healthy, without appearing to suffer from anything. Impatient to see his third Shifu, so he may give some care to the horse, he didn't stop stretching the neck toward the road to see him as soon as possible. Suddenly he heard a warbling, tolling of bells. 4 camels. Oh, bells. Okay, the bells are not that slow, but his pretend is faster. 4 camels of a snow-white color arrived at full speed on the road, each brought by an individual clothed in white. Guojing had grown in the desert, but he had never seen anything as beautiful camels. What? But he had never seen any as beautiful camels. He had never seen camels as beautiful as these, and could not stop himself from looking fixedly at them. Aged of about 20 years, the cameleers had all one face of fine lines and attractive, of a beauty that one rarely could see in Mongolia. They got down with agility of their settings to enter in the hostel. Kill me now, guys. What is this sentence? They got down with agility of their settings to enter in the hostel. Okay. Guojing could not leave them of the eye. Oh no. There's gonna be a whole chapter. Guojing could not take his eyes off them. One of the cameleers, I actually like that. One of the cameleers, embarrassed by the fixity of this look, blushed and lowered the head. Another, on the other hand, got in anger. Little stun? What do you have to look like that? Guojing, taken on the fact, diverted the head with embarrassment. The newcomers whispered in a low voice, and one heard them to laugh. Oh no. The newcomers whispered in a low voice, and one heard them laugh. Congratulations, seemed to say one among them. You really hit that little stun. Okay. Guojing understood that one ridiculed him and felt all ashamed. Red in the cheeks, he wondered if he had to remain or leave. When Han Baoju arrived on his stallion, pursuit of wind, the young man hastened to tell his Shifu of his misadventure. How is this possible? Wondered Han Baoju. He approached the horse, caressed it, examined its hand attentively, and exploded to laugh. He examined the horse's hand? I don't understand. No, it is not blood, he says. It is sweat. Sweat? Stammered Guojing, speechless. Red sweat? My small Jing, it is a horse to the sweat of blood, a rare beast and of an inestimable value. Ooh, this horse has red blood, guys. Sorry, red sweat, guys. Guojing was in heaven to learn that his setting was not wounded. So setting means horse. What did they do? They put this through Google Translate. I know it. I should put this through ChatGPT and just tell it to make the sentences sound right. That might be good. Third Shifu, did he ask, how can sweat look like blood? I've heard about it from my deceased Shifu, that it exists in the kingdom of Fergana, which is Central Asia Valley. Okay. In the territories of the west, celestial horses, whose sweat was red as blood. Its gallop looked like he was going to fly, and it could browse more than 1,000 li per day. But it was a legend. No one ever saw one, and I didn't believe myself in it too much. However, here is that legendary animal. Let himself be tamed by you. Okay. Do we know what that means? In the meantime, the other freaks had also arrived. All took place in the hostel and ordered to eat. Zhu Tong, whose learning was incomparable, said while nodding the head, "It is effectively an anecdote consigned in the historic memorials and in the dynastic history of the Hans, that the Emperor Han Wudi, having heard the speak of the horse to the sweat of blood, had sent an emissary in kingdom of Fergana with a full-size statue of the animal, all gold, and had asked to have one of it. However, the king of Fergana refused." "How did the emperor react?" asked Han Xiaoying. "Did he give up on the horse?" Installed on another table, the cameleers in blank also stretched the ear to listen to the history. At that moment, one heard to ring some bells, and 4 other individuals, also clothed of white, entered and sat down with their mates. We need Losh to translate? True. "Of course not," said Zhu Tong. "He entered in a terrifying anger and invaded Fergana, to the term of a long and terrifying war, during which the kingdom was annihilated. He finally captured one of the famous horses, but at what price?" All exclaimed on the madness of the men and continued to eat the meal that they had ordered. The 8 cameleers had listened to history attentively, throwing looks of desire on the attached outside red horse. Oh, they want to steal it. They're like, "Oh, we want to trade our camels for this horse." And they didn't quit to whisper in a low voice. Kujanu, whose hearing was especially fine, heard them distinctly, although the tables were relatively distant from each other. "If one wants to go for it," said one of them, "we need to do it right away. If he rides his horse again, we won't be able to catch him up." "There's too many people here," retorted another, "and he has some mates." "If they dare to interfere," said a third, "we only have to kill them all." "How can these 8 individuals appear so cruel?" wondered Kujanu, but he didn't let anything of it appear and continued to swallow his dough greedily. His dough? They're just eating dough. This is what they ordered. Cameleer is a good word. I like cameleer, okay? That's pretty cool. A camel rider is a cameleer. So what's an ostrich rider? Ostrichier, obviously. "We are going to offer this precious horse to the young master," said one of them. "Mounted on such beast, his arrival in Yanjing will be a lot more spectacular. No one will be talked about as much as him, not even conceited people like the immortal of Ginseng or the virtuous supreme Lingji." Kujanu had heard spoken of the virtuous supreme Lingji, that was an eminent personality of the esoteric school of Tibet, known in the whole southwest for his so-called technique stamp of a big hand. That sounds impressive. On the other hand, he didn't know anything about the immortal of Ginseng. "These last days," said another, "we met on the road a lot of outlaws. These are all of the men of Peng Lian Hu, called the Butcher of the 1,000 Hands. They are probably going to the appointment in Yanjing. If they fall on this precious horse, do you believe that we will get another chance to get it?" Kujanu froze. He knew that Peng Lianhu was a dangerous strip chief, who raged in the region of Hubei and Shanxi. He had many henchmen under his orders and acted with cruelty. He had killed so many people that he had received the nickname of the Butcher of the 1,000 Hands. Why, did he wonder, all these sinister outlaws are to meet in the capital? And from where did these 8 women come? These women continued to plot in a low voice, deciding to lie in ambush on the road outside of the township in order to seize the horse of Guo Jing. Then they chattered, talking of cloths and other business of the kind. It is you that the young master prefers, or the young master must be thinking about you now, etc. Kujanu raised his eyebrows, angry, but he could not close his ears, and he heard it, and he heard all in spite of him. If we offer the horse to the sweat of blood to the young master, did ask for one among them, what reward do you believe that he is going to give us? He is surely going to spend more nights with you, answered another while laughing. The first protested, sulky. They bickered while laughing. Be quiet, says one among them. Don't unveil our intentions. They don't seem to be that easy. The woman over there, says another in a low voice, carries a sword. She practices the martial arts for sure, and she is rather good-looking. If she had 10 years less, the young master would... If she had 10 years less, the young master would certainly fall for her. Kujanu understood well that they were speaking of Han Xiaoying and felt even angrier. This young master of which they spoke couldn't be someone that advisable. The 8 women finished their meal, took their camels, and left the hostel. After their departure, Kujanu asked Guo Jing, Jing, what do you think of the gong fu of these 8 women? What women? Wondered Guo Jing. They are disguised as men, explained Ju Tong. But you didn't realize it, did you? Who knows the mount of the white camel? Asked Kujanu. No one had heard of it. Ke informed them about the conversation that he had heard. The other freaks found that these shameless women didn't lack of boldness, but their audacity to want to tackle someone stronger than them was something to laugh about. 2 among them, said Han Xiaoying, have a big nose and green eyes. They probably aren't Chinese. Effectively, confirmed Han Baoju. And these entirely white camels only exist in the territories of the West. That they want to steal the horse, said Kujanu. That is not too serious. But they said that numerous dangerous personalities were going to a meeting in Yanjing. It must probably hide an important plot to harm the Song dynasty. It could even have disastrous consequences for our people. Since we have fallen on such a business, we cannot wash our hands of it. You feel like this was translated by Derek Zoolander? True. Certainly not, said Chen Jinfa. But the appointment of Jiaxing is near. We can't waste any time. They hesitated, because it appeared impossible to reconcile the 2 missions. That Jing goes there first, said suddenly Nan Xiren. 4th brother wants to say, did decipher Han Xiaoying, that Jing must go alone in Jiaxing, and that we will join him once we will have solved this business in Yanjing. Nan Xiren nodded his head. This is true, says Ju Tong. It is time that Jing travels a little alone to acquire some experience all by himself. Alright, so they're going to leave him alone. The young man appeared very saddened to part ways from his shifus. You are now big, reprimanded Kujinu. Don't behave like a child. You go and wait for us there, comforted Han Xiaoying. In less than 1 month, we will join you. The appointment of Jia Xing, said Zhu Tong. We didn't explain it in detail to you until now. Whenever it arrives at the 24th day of the 3rd lunar month at noon, you must imperatively be to the pavilion of the drunk immortals, even if the sky was to fall on your head. Guojing acquiesced. You are now big. I love it. Okay, stop. Whew. This is almost as funny as the Mandarin duck blades. All right. Calm down, guys. These 8 women want to steal your horse, continued Kujanu. Don't look for the fight. Your horse is You are now big. Your horse is fast. Okay. Whew. All right. All right. All right. Calm down, guys. Calm down. Your horse is fast, and they won't be able to catch up to you. You have important things to attend to. What is this? Avoid to embark in useless histories. Yeah. So avoid doing other things, I guess. Things that are not your mission. If these women dare to cause any trouble, well, that's a good sentence, said Han Baozhu. The 7 freaks of the Jiangnan will stop them. There are only 6 of you, though. Zhang Asheng had died more than 10 years ago, but the 6 always called themselves the 7 freaks, never forgetting to associate their dead brother to all their actions. Guo Jing therefore bid farewell to his teachers. He had witnessed this battle against the 4 demons of the Yellow River, and were not too greatly worried. The young man had proved that he knew to use the skills that had been taught to him. Therefore, they let him leave alone. On one hand, the meeting of the outlaws in Yanjing worried them greatly, so that they could not make themselves lose interest in it. And on the other hand, a youngster always had to travel the Jianghu alone in order to learn the lessons that no teachers could pass on. You don't know what happened? We've had this translator before. Yeah. Maybe he didn't have his editor this time. At the moment of parting, Each made his last recommendations. As usual, when the six spoke after one another, Nan Shiren was the last one to express himself. If you cannot defeat the enemy, he said, flee. Knowing the dogged character of Guojing, he knew that he would prefer to die rather than surrender. If he met a master, he would certainly fight to the bitter end, even at the risk of death. That was the reason Nan Shiren gave him this common-sense warning. Martial arts has no limits, added Ju Tong. As the proverb says, for every peak there is one yet higher. That's pretty good. How come he translated that well? So, for every man there is one stronger. Whatever your power, you will always one day meet a foe stronger than you. A true man knows to retreat when necessary. When facing grave danger, it is necessary to contain one's impatience and anger. This is what is meant by the adage, if one preserves the earth and its forests, one does not fear the lack of firewood. It is not therefore not cowardly to take good advice. When the enemy is too numerous, and that you cannot face them there, it is especially necessary to avoid it being too reckless. Keep in mind fourth Shifu's advice. Guojing agreed and kowtowed to his teachers. Before mounting his horse to head for the south, he felt great sadness at parting from his masters, with whom he had lived every day for the past 10 years, so that the tears flowed down his face. He thought of also his mother, whom he had left alone in the desert. Of course, she did not lack for anything, since Genghis Khan and Tolui had promised to look after her, but his loneliness weighed upon him nonetheless, and he grieved for her. After traveling about 10 li, he arrived in a mountainous region. The road wound in the bottom of a valley dominated by craggy slopes sprinkled by strange boulders. As it was the first time that he had confronted the outside world, he could not help but feel a little apprehensive at the sight of this threatening landscape. One hand on the hilt of his sword, he paused then, while smiling. If Third Shifu saw me thus, trembling and terrified, he would certainly make fun of me. The path climbed the mountain flank, becoming more and more narrow and serpentine. After a turn, he suddenly became aware of a mass of white shapes in front of him. 4 women clothed in white, mounted on white camels, blocked the road. Uh-oh, they're coming for him. Guojing halted and pulled up the reins of his horse. From a distance, he shouted, "Excuse me, please, may I pass?" The 4 women laughed. "Little guy," replied one of them, "what do you fear? Why don't you come over? We won't eat you." Red-faced, Guojing did not know what to do. Could he amicably negotiate passage, or was it necessary to rush and force the pass by arms? "Your horse seems not a bad animal," said another woman. "Come, let me have a look at him." She spoke to him as to a little child. Guojing felt anger rise within him, but the layout of the terrain worried him. To his right rose a craggy cliff. To the left there was a mist-drowned precipice, whose bottom could not be seen. "Eldest Shifu," he said to himself, "has given me good advice not to seek trouble. If I ride swiftly at them, those girls will be well obliged to let me pass." Okay. Let's see how this goes. He lashed his reins, pressed with his thighs, and the red horse sped forward like an arrow. Sword in hand, Guojing cried, "Listen, you people! Let me pass! If someone is jostled and falls in the precipice, it won't be my fault." In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of the 4 women. They had leapt down from their camels and attempted to seize the bridle of the horse, but with a whinny, the horse leapt over the camels. Guojing had the impression that he was flying in the clouds as he landed behind his opponents, who were just as surprised as him. Hearing them scream out their anger, he turned and saw the flash of 2 projectiles flying towards him, this being his first travels in Jianghu. He had taken heed of the prudent recommendations of his masters. Worried that the missiles were poisoned, he did not wish to seize them with his bare hands. He waved his leather cap and gathered them, intercepting their flight. "Well done!" cried 2 of the women. "Pretty gong fu!" Pretty? Guojing dipped his head and saw inside his cap 2 silver darts tipped with extremely sharp fish bones, deadly weapons. He felt disturbed and upset. "There is no ill will between us," he said to himself. "You covet only my horse, and here you are ready to injure me mortally." Okay, I don't know what happened, but the translator got a little bit better. He's back to his normal self. He placed the missiles in his pouch, and fearing to meet the 4 other women, he loosened his horse's reins. It galloped like the wind, and in less than an hour had covered 80 li. The assailants had to be ambushed far more on the road, but it was passed so quickly that they did not have the time to... Hold on. Let me read that again. The assailants had to be ambushed further up the road, but it was passed so quickly that they did not have time to stop it. After a brief rest, he continued on. Before night fell again, he had arrived at Kalgan, sure that he had left behind those following. Kalgan, the crossroads of commerce between the south and the north, was a small but very lively city, where the trade of the region was centered, especially the fur trade. Holding his red horse by the reins, Guojing glanced right and left with great curiosity. Never had he seen a town of such importance, so that everything appeared strange and novel to him. Arriving in front of a large restaurant, he felt the pangs of hunger. He tied up his horse in front of the door and went in. Once seated at a table, he ordered a dish of beef with 2 pancakes, and being of good appetite, he ate in the Mongol manner, winding the meat in the pancake and taking bites out of it. While he treated himself, he suddenly heard a tumult at the door of the inn. Fearing for his mount, he rushed to the doorway. The little red horse was quietly eating his fodder, but 2 inn boys were scolding a young, slender boy clothed in rags. Aged about 15 or 16 years, on his head he wore an old leather hat with many holes. His face and hands were all dirty, so much so that one could not distinguish his features clearly. He held a big bun in his hand and laughed stupidly, revealing 2 rows of beautiful white teeth that seemed out of place in comparison with his general appearance. His black, very lively eyes shone with intensity. "Hey!" screamed one of the boys. "Get lost!" "Sure," said the young man. "Since you want me to go, I'll go." He turned on his heel, but the other inn boy interrupted. "Leave the bun!" He did so, passed back the bun, but it was spattered with the tracks of dirty fingers and could no longer be sold. The inn boy, furious, launched a blow with his fist that the other ducked. Guojing felt pity for him, thinking that he had to be hungry, and interposed himself. "There's no need for violence," he said. "Put that on my account." He obtained the bun and gave it to the young man, who took it, but said, "This bun is no good. Poor thing." "This bun is no good. Poor thing. Wait, here, for you." He threw the bun to a small, skinny... Oh, wait, that's her. That's the young man talking. But said, "This bun is no good. Poor thing. Wait, here, for you." He threw the bun to a small, skinny dog that started to devour it. What a waste, swore the inn boy, giving a dog such a good bun. Guo Jing was taken aback, for he had believed that the boy had suffered from hunger. He returned to his table to continue his meal. Now the young man followed him inside the establishment and stayed there, looking at him fixedly. Guo Jing felt a little bothered. Then he asked, "Do you want to eat here, too?" "Gladly so," replied the young man with a laugh. "Exactly. I was bored all alone, and I've been looking for a buddy." He had a Jiannan accent, and its familiarity delighted Guo Jing. In fact, his mother was from Linan in Zhejiang province, and the odd six... Why did he change their name? And the odd six, or the six freaks, all came from Jiaxing. He had therefore, since childhood, been immersed in the accent of Jiannan. The young boy seated himself at the table. Guo Jing ordered a cover of more to the waiter. He saw the rags and dirtiness of the new guest. His appearance was not very nice. It was necessary to call him several times before he brought over a bowl and a plate, dragging his feet. "You like this kid because he fed a thin dog?" "Yeah." "He didn't beat the dog?" "You take me for a pauper," said the young boy. "Unworthy to eat here?" "Puh! Even if you serve your finest dishes, who knows whether they might be to my taste?" Yes," said the waiter coldly. "We will assuredly follow your orders, sir. The problem is that we don't know if anyone will pay." "Whatever the dishes that I order," the boy demanded of Guo Jing, "will you treat me?" Of course," replied Guo Jing, who then ordered the waiter, "Quickly, will you cut up a plate of roast beef and a half plate of mutton liver?" For him, roast beef and mutton liver constituted the ultimate in delicacies. "Do you drink wine?" he asked. "Do you drink wine?" he asked the boy. "Wait," the other replied. "Don't rush into the meat. Let us begin first with fruit. Waiter, bring us first 4 dry fruit, 4 fresh fruit, 2 salted sweetened ones, 4 preserved fruit in honey." He just ordered fruit. Just any fruit. 4 dry, any fruits. 4 fresh fruits. Yeah, it doesn't matter which ones. The waiter was shocked, not expecting such orders. "Which fruit and sweets would you wish, sir?" he inquired. "In this little establishment, in this pathetic little town," says the boy, "I imagine it's impossible for you to do anything great. Then one will content oneself with little. The 4 dry fruits are lychee, longans, jujubes, to the steamed, and ginkgos. For the expenses, you will choose seasonal fruits. For the salted, sweetened, perfumed cherries, and plums to the filaments of ginger. But I don't know if one can find some here. As for the preserved fruit in honey, you will bring perfumed orangettes to the rose, preserved grapes, fishing lamelles to sugar freezes, and pear slices." This knowledge of culinary matters impressed the waiter, who no longer dared to act superior. "There is no fresh fish or fresh shrimp here to accompany the wine," continued the boy, "so I will be content with 8 average dishes." "What would you desire, sir?" asked the waiter. "Of course," said the boy with a sigh. "Hey, if one does not explain all the tiniest details, you would be incapable of doing anything. Here are the 8 dishes: steamed pheasant, fried duck feet, a soup of chicken tongues, deer stomach to rice wine, beef ribs with chives, rabbit in filament to the chrysanthemum, thigh of wild boar stir-fried, pork feet in ginger vinegar. I'm choosing simple dishes only. It's not worth speaking of more sophisticated dishes." Are they going to eat all of that? The waiter's mouth gaped. These 8 dishes, he said, are rather expensive. For the duck feet and the chicken tongue soup, we will require a lot of poultry. This gentleman is paying, responded the boy while pointing at Guojing. Do you believe that he does not have the means? The waiter saw that Guojing carried a sable coat of great value. Even if you have no means of payment, he said to himself, this coat will suffice to cover the expenditures. He then demanded, Is that all? You will also bring, the boy said, 12 more dishes to accompany the rice and 8 different desserts, and it will go on like that. How much are they eating? Jeez. The waiter didn't dare to ask details concerning the dishes, fearing the boy would order dishes he could not provide. He went to the kitchen, telling them to prepare the best. Yeah, they need like 2 or 3 tables, I think. Which wine does the gentleman wish to drink? He returned to ask. We have white wine, 10 years of age. What would you say of 2 horns to start? Why not? Said the boy. One continued with... A little later, the waiter brought fruits and cookies. Guojing tasted each plate and marveled at all those delicious things he had never known. The boy spoke much, telling about the local customs and habits, describing famous characters and famous anecdotes about the country of the south. Guojing was fascinated by his refined eloquence and his immense knowledge. Guojing's second Shifu was a well-read man and a great scholar, but Guojing, who had devoted all his time and energy to martial arts, had only learned from Ju Tong during their rare free time some basic characters. All right. Good time for a break. I'll be right back. 5 minutes. All right. Be right back. All right. We're back. It seemed to him now that this young boy was as cultivated as second Shifu, and he was filled with wonder. I believe, he thought, what seems like just a poor beggar was in reality a well-read man of immense culture. The men in China are definitely quite different from those in Mongolia. Half an hour later, the dishes were ready. Okay. It was necessary to join 2 large tables together to be able to serve them all. The young boy drank very little and ate in the same way, being satisfied with the pickings of the less spiced dishes. Suddenly he called the waiter and thundered, This rice wine is 5 years old. How do you dare to serve it with the food? Your palate is very well refined. The manager came to beg for pardon. Please excuse us. In fact, our humble establishment did not have it. It was necessary to borrow some from the nearest larger restaurant, the House of Eternal Celebration. In general, one does not find fresh wine in Kalgan. The young boy made a gesture to return it and resumed his conversation with Guojing again, asking him 1,000 questions about the desert and Mongolia. As his Shifus had reminded him to be discreet, in order not to reveal his identity, he was content to tell anecdotes on hunting for hares and wolves, the shooting of eagles, horse races, etc. The boy listened with fascination, applauding the sharpest accounts and often bursting into fresh and childish laughter. Guojing had lived all his life in the desert. He had certainly tied a sincere friendship with Tolui and Huazheng, but Temujin, who loved his youngest son very much, often kept his son near him, so that Tolui didn't have much time to play around. As for Huazheng, she had a strong character and often quarreled with Guojing, who felt reluctant to do everything she wanted. Although they always ended reconciled, the relation wasn't easy. However, everything was different with this young boy. They were conversing during eating, and Guojing without knowing why, felt a joy he had never experienced before. Usually he spoke little and expressed himself with difficulty. One really needed to pose him with questions, forcing him to answer painfully. Han Xiaoying nicely made fun of him by saying that he was the preferred disciple of 4th Shifu because he had adopted Nanshiren's model, silence is golden. This time, he surprisingly could speak non-stop, not hiding anything of his life, except his martial arts training and what was related to Temujin, telling even all silly things and his stupidities. He spoke glibly, and at a certain moment, he forgot himself and seized the left hand of his interlocutor. He was surprised because this hand was soft and smooth. It was flexible and seemed boneless. The boy smiled slightly and bowed his head. Guojing realized, whereas the boy's face was dark with filth, the skin of his nape had the whiteness of jade. Guojing found this a bit strange, but he did not pay further attention. Well, we've chatted for a long time, the boy said, withdrawing his hand. All are cold now, the dishes and also the rice. Yes, Guojing said, but it is not spoilt. It is still good, nevertheless. The boy shook his head. Then we'll let it be warmed up. No, the boy said. What is warmed up isn't good anymore. What do you think, guys? Who is this boy? He called the waiter, ordered him to throw all of it away and prepare new dishes with fresh ingredients. I don't like that. What a waste of food. The manager, the cooks, and waiters found this attitude quite strange, but they did it readily. The Mongols had a habit of showing extreme hospitality to their guests, and besides, it was the first time of his life Guojing handled money. He didn't know its value at all. But even if he did know, he got along so well with the boy, he felt such a pleasure in the boy's company, he would have spent 10 times as much without batting an eye. The new dishes were served, and the boy ate some mouthful and had enough. You are really an idiot, the waiter inwardly said to Guojing. This little urchin has taken advantage of you. He brought the check, which amounted to 19 taels, 74 quadrans. Guojing took a gold ingot, ordered the waiter to change against taels, the money changer, and paid. When they left the restaurant, the north wind blew violently. The young boy seemed to feel cold. He shivered and said, I've disturbed you. Now, goodbye. Seeing the boy dressed not warm enough, Guojing felt his heart tightening. He removed his black sable coat and covered the shoulders of the boy. Brother, he said, I got the impression we've known each other forever. Please accept this coat. He had 4 gold ingots left. He took 2 ingots, slipped them into the coat's pocket. Without even thanking, the boy wearing the sable coat stepped along heavily. After walking about 10 steps, he turned and saw Guojing holding his horse by its bridle, fixedly looking at him. He understood Guojing did not want to separate like that. Then he made a gesture with his hand. Guojing approached him eagerly and inquired, Does worthy brother still need something? I haven't yet asked for the name of my big brother, said the boy, smiling. Indeed, Guojing said, laughing. We forgot about that. My name is Guo, and Jing is my first name. And you, brother? My name is Huang, and my first name is Rong. Where are you bound for? Asked Guojing. If you want to go towards the south, we could travel together. What do you think? I do not go towards the south, Huang Rong said, shaking his head. Then he said suddenly, Big brother, I'm still hungry. Very well, Guojing ardently said. Let us eat something together. This time, Huang Rong brought him to the House of Eternal Celebration, the principal restaurant of Kalgan, which decoration accurately imitated the great establishments of the ancient capital of Song, Bianliang. He did not order a feast anymore, but asked only 4 plates of fine pastry, a pot of Longjin tea, and both continued their rambling conversation. Having learned that Guojing had tamed 2 white eagles, Huang Rong expressed a certain desire. Very well, he said. I did not know exactly where to go. Indeed, tomorrow I'll leave for Mongolia to catch 2 white eagles for my amusement. Wait, oh, that's her talking. Damn it. That's him talking. They're not easy to find, Guojing remarked. Then how did you find them? Guojing didn't answer and only smiled. The climate is severe in Mongolia, he said. The north wind blew icy and hard. How would this young boy with such a weak constitution could withstand it? Where do you live? He asked. Why don't you return home? Huang Rong had tears in his eyes. Dad doesn't want me anymore. And why? He locked up somebody, answered Huang Rong, and did not want to set that person free. I took pity on the prisoner, as he is displeased all alone. I brought good things for him to eat, and I tried to converse with him. Dad got angry and cursed at me. I ran away in the middle of the night. Your dad surely thinks of you at this moment, Guojing said. And your mom? Died for a long time. I didn't have a mom since I was very little. If you have had your fun, it would be better to return home. Dad does not want me anymore, Huang Rong said, crying. That's impossible. Then why doesn't he look for me? Perhaps he is still seeking, but I haven't found you. You're probably right, Huang Rong said, who changed from crying to laughing. Then, when I have my fun, I'll return. But first of all, it is necessary to tame 2 white eagles. They chatted again about what they have seen or experienced. Guojing told the incident of the 8 women in white, disguised as men, who wanted to take possession of his horse. Huang Rong raised questions about the small red horse, its capabilities, its character, and was full of envy. He drank a mouthful of tea and said smilingly, Big brother, I want to ask for something of great value to you. Would you approve of that? Of course, why wouldn't I? What I would like is precisely your horse with the sweat of blood. All right, Guojing said without hesitating. I will gladly give it to you. Wow. In fact, Huang Rong was joking. He saw very well that Guojing adored his invaluable horse, and they had just met recently, and by chance, he just wanted to see how this good chap was going to refuse his improper request. However, Guojing answered with such an amount of generosity and simplicity that he was taken by surprise. Moved beyond words, he could not prevent himself from breaking into sobs and hiding his face with his arms. Guojing was even more surprised. Well, brother, he asked with concern, what happened? Don't you feel well? Huang Rong raised his head. He had cried, but now a big smile lit his face. The running tears had wiped away the filth, revealing a white skin like pure jade. Big brother, he said, let us go. Guojing paid, and they left the restaurant. Guojing took his horse by its bridle, caressed it gently, and gave it the following advice. I've given you to my great friend here. You will show yourself obeying, and especially not show your foul temper. Then he addressed Huang Rong. Brother, mount the horse. Usually, the small red horse did not allow anyone else to mount it, but during the last few days it had quieted a lot, and since its master had ordered it to do so, it didn't make a fuss. Huang Rong leapt on the horse, Guo Jing let go of the bridle and clapped him lightly on the rump. Rider and horse disappeared in a cloud of dust. Wow, he just gave his horse away, guys. Guo Jing waited until he could see them no more before he returned. It was very late when he obtained a room in a hostelry. The moment he was going to extinguish his candle and go to bed, he heard a scratch at the door. He thought it was Huang Rong, who had returned, and felt great joy. "Is that you, brother?" he demanded. "That's great."
"It's your old man," replied a hoarse voice. "What's so wonderful?"
Surprised, the young man opened the door and saw by the glimmer of the candle 5 men. While looking at them more closely, he felt a shiver go down his spine. 4 of them, armed with saber, lance, whip, and twin axes, were none other than the Yellow River's 4 demons whom he had fought earlier at the hill. Uh-oh. The 5th one was a lean man of about 40 years, with a dark and long face, with 3 bumps on the forehead that gave him an extremely ugly appearance. The lean man sneered and swept grandly into the room. He seated himself arrogantly on the bed of bricks, then turned his head to regard Guo Jing. The senior brother of the Yellow River's 4 demons, Shun Qinggang, nicknamed Saber Breaks the Soul, declared coldly,
"Here is our martial uncle, the renowned Ho Tong Hai, known as 3-Headed Dragon. Kowtow before Lord Hao right now."
Guo Jing realized that he was cornered. He already could not defeat the 4 demons of the Yellow River by themselves, not to say nothing of their martial uncle, who had to be fearsome. "What do you want?" he demanded, while joining his fists in greeting.
"Where are your teachers?"
questioned Ho Tonghai. "My 6 Shifu are not here."
"Huh," sneered Ho Tonghai. "Then I will leave you a respite of a half-day. If I killed you now, one could say that the 3-Headed Dragon was taking advantage of an opponent weaker than him. Tomorrow noon, I will await your 6 Shifus in the Black Pine Wood, 10 li to the west of here."
He left without even waiting for Guo Jing's reply. Wu Qinglie, nicknamed Whip Pulls Out Life, closed the door and locked it from the outside. Guo Jing put out the candle, lay down on the bed, and saw on the paper of the window a shadow come and go with no small swiftness. The enemy, clearly, were mounting a watch over him. Shortly after, he heard a noise on the roof, someone hitting the tiles with a weapon, while saying, "Little chap, don't even think about running away. Your old man is watching you." Understanding that escape was impossible, Guo Jing lay still, glancing at the ceiling, wondering how he was going to leave tomorrow, but he fell asleep before he found the beginnings to a solution. The next morning, the inn boy brought hot water for his bath and noodles for breakfast, closely followed by Qian Qingjian, armed with his 2 short axes. Guo Jing reflected that his Shifu were far away and probably could not arrive on time to save him. Since he could not flee, it was necessary to fight and die as a man. His 4th Shifu had for him had said to him,
"If you can't beat the enemy, flee."
But to flee without even being beaten, this would not be following the advice. In fact, it would not have been difficult for him to escape from Qian Jingjian alone, but his spirit was not very lively or very resourceful. If only Nian Shiren had said to him, "Flee from danger," he probably would have taken to his heels, and Qian Jingjian certainly would not have been in a position to catch him. The 3-Headed Dragon, Ho Tonghai, believed that the Jiangnan Odd 6 were located in this area, and that, given their fame, they never would have failed to keep an appointment, so would never have imagined that Guo Jing would flee on his own. Seated on the bed, he practiced the meditations and controlled his breath according to the pointers given by Ma Yu. Next to him, Qian Jingjian whirled his axes while shouting and criticizing his methods. Guo Jing gave him not the least attention. Towards noon, he rose. "Let's go," he said to his jailer. He paid his expenditures to the innkeeper, and both headed for the west. 10 li further on, they indeed came across a wood of thickly foliaged pines. Jian Qingjian left Guojing and entered the wood. The young man pulled out the supple whip that he always carried by his side and cautiously entered the undergrowth. Progressing slowly all the direction to the augets, he followed the small path for a little more than 1 li without seeing anyone. All was silent, with an occasional bird cry now and then. As he advanced, his apprehension grew. "No one is watching me," he said suddenly to himself. "The wood is so thick. Why not hide myself? To hide myself, that is not to flee." He prepared himself to slip into a bush when he heard swearing above his head. "Little bastard! Idiot! Moron!" Oh, wait. Guojing jumped back, his whip held on guard. He looked up and burst out laughing. All at the top of 4 big trees, the Yellow River demons, hands tied behind their backs, were hanging at the end of a rope and wriggled in the air. They struggled hopelessly but could not escape. Seeing Guojing, they redoubled their cursing. "You playing at swings?" asked Guojing while laughing. "This is very funny, isn't it? Then goodbye, I'll take my leave." He took a few steps back, then returned. How did you end up like that?" "Damn you!" growled Qian Jingjian. "We were trapped by surprise. This is not worthy of a real man." "Little guy!" cried Chen Jinggang. "Little guy!" cried Chen Jinggang. "If you're brave enough, let us down. We will fight 1-on-1 to decide between us. For if we attacked you en masse, we would be cowards." Guojing wasn't very intelligent, but neither was he completely stupid. He burst out laughing again and said, "I'll accept that you're brave without needing to match blows." Afraid that Ho Tonghai, the 3-headed dragon, might arrive, he had no desire to linger. He hastily departed and returned to the city. He bought a horse and resumed without delay his journey south. "Who was it that helped me secretly?" he asked himself. "These 4 demons of the Yellow River have excellent gong fu. Who succeeded in tying them up and suspend them in the trees? And this 3-headed dragon that had seemed so frightening, why was it that I didn't see him anymore? My Shifu always said, when an appointment is taken, it is necessary to keep it, even if the sky falls on your head. I've kept his appointment. If he didn't arrive himself, that's not my fault." The journey went on without incident. That day, he finally arrived at Yanjing. It was the capital of the Jin Empire, the most prosperous city in the country. Even the former capital of the Song, Bianliang, or the new Linan, could not compete with it. Guojing, who had grown up in the desert, never had seen similar organization. Red buildings of cunning architecture, decorated panels, majestic doors, splendid attachments in front of the sumptuous residences, fiery standards disputing the passage in the streets. Merchandises of all sorts were exposed in immense stores. A colorful crowd to the luxurious clothes pressed themselves in the tea parlors and the debits of drinks. Brilliant signs, multicolored standards, in the air resounded 1,000 musics, 100 perfumes filled with fragrance. Guojing did not know any more where to turn his head. There were so many things before his eyes that he did not recognize one object out of 10. Not daring to enter a restaurant that was too richly furnished, he chose a small stall where he ate quickly, then continued to walk around at random. Suddenly, he heard a continuous cheering and saw a crowd in the distance massed around something. Pressed on by his curiosity, he approached and slipped among the onlookers. They pressed themselves around a wide open area, in the middle of which was planted an ornamented standard with the phrase, "Challenge to find a spouse," embroidered upon it. Beneath the standard, two people faced each other in unrelenting combat. One was a girl dressed in red, the other a big fat fellow. Guojing saw right away that the girl, whose every movement was measured and checked, had good kung fu, while the fat fellow was clearly not up to the mark. After some exchanges, the girl feigned to lower her guard. The fat fellow advanced to attack with a blow called twin dragons leaving their lairs, projecting both fists towards the chest of the opponent. But the girl stepped back lightly. Her left arm pivoted and struck the back of the fat fellow, who tumbled to the ground. He got up, covered in dust, an embarrassed look on his face, and disappeared into the crowd. The spectators applauded and acclaimed the girl. All right. So if you beat her, then you get to marry her. She rearranged a strand of hair and returned to the standard. Guojing regarded her more attentively. Aged about 18 years, she was very graceful, and her face extremely pretty, lightly marked by life. Gusts of cold wind fluttered the standard, to either side of which had been planted an iron lance and two short halberds. The girl exchanged some words in a low voice with a middle-aged man. He nodded and stepped forward, clasped his hands, and saluted the onlookers. "Your servant is named Mu Yi. I am from Shandong. I'm in visiting your honorable city. I seek neither fame or fortune. It is just that my girl is of the age to put a comb in her hair." So she has to be 15 years. The girls considered as adults can groom and squeeze their hair with a comb. Okay? And she has no fiancé. She has formerly made a vow. She does not desire a prosperous husband or a noble one, but a valiant expert in martial arts. This is the reason we have the audacity to propose a contest for her to find a husband. All young men aged less than 30 years and who are unmarried can match themselves against my girl. If he can vanquish her in a single move, I will give her to him in marriage. We traverse the country of the south to the north, but all the renowned experts already are married, and the young brave ones doubtless did not deign to try. This is the reason we have not been able to find a good husband. Yanjing is a place where tigers and dragons hide in the shadows. Here there certainly are many heroes and valiant men. If my actions seem presumptuous, I beg your kind pardon. This Mu Yi looked sturdy and strong to Guojing, but his back was slightly hunched. He was white-haired and his entire face wrinkled. His air was melancholic and sad. He was clad in coarse fabric, patched in several places, while the girl was clothed in lively colors. After making his speech, Mu Yi listened for some time. He heard louts making vulgar comments, but they did not dare to descend in the arena. He raised his eyes to the sky, saw leaden clouds accumulating, and the wind grow stronger. "One would say that a blizzard threatens," he said in a low voice. It was so dark that day." He turned back, took down the banner from the standard, and prepared to stow away the banner when two simultaneous cries were heard from the east and west. "One moment!" And two men leaped in the open space. I think this is a good place to stop. Yeah. How did you guys like that? Okay, a few things happen. Guo Jing met a little boy, a young man who's kind of mysterious. Okay. Seems like a beggar, but is obviously not a beggar. Yeah, and apparently this boy just took his horse and rode away. He just gave his horse away. Um, good chapter. All right. Do. His fur coat. Oh yeah, and his fur coat and 2 gold ingots. He gave away everything. My God. He has no horse. Now he just has to walk. What? He has to walk everywhere now. Yep. And he was okay, he's being chased by those that one gang, but then someone took care of them. Yeah. And next chapter we get to hear about this battle for a spouse. All right. I have some wine today. This is plum wine. Can you see? Nope, you cannot. Now you can see. Hear that? Freshly opened. All right, cheers. Yum. Yum, 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 yum. All right, guys. Tune in next time for the spouse battle. Need to get Infamy brand shot glasses? Maybe. All right. Yeah, the translation in this chapter was a little questionable at some parts, but he recovered, guys. The translator recovered. It was at least understandable. I hope it continues. I hope we don't have that again in the next chapter. It was really bad. That really seemed like he just put it through Google Translate. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye.